Hi YouTube! Today's video is a guide to smart shoes. I'm going to tell you all the different types of shoe so you know what to look for when you're shopping. The Oxford shoe is the standard smart shoe that you'd imagine when picking something to go with your suit. You can't really go wrong with this style. Named after the university, Oxford University, as 19th century students were looking for comfort and found low shoes easier to wear than boots. Look out for laces that have been enclosed in a stand with maybe a swish going along the heel and a toe cap detail. Most people like to have one of these as a staple in their wardrobes. No fuss, but a bit of detailing to keep it interesting and keep you happy. Derby, I think I'm saying that right. This is really similar to an Oxford shoe, but a bit more simple. These were the trainers of the 19th century and were a lightweight boot alternative. Look out for laces living free, unenclosed, and no toe cap in sight. A real simple shoe. These shoes are good for someone who's got wider feet, as there's more room to adjust the laces. It's got more of a gap in it, so you can do the laces less tight. There's no harm in having a pair if that's the fit that calls out to you. A brogue. So the brogue is for someone who enjoys a touch of fun in their shoe. This design comes from Scotland and Ireland, as brogue is Gaelic for shoe. The signature perforated patterns were originally punched in the shoe to let water out when these shoes were worn in damp conditions. Look out for holes of varying sizes along the laces, along the toe cap, and even a design on the toe. When the Prince of Wales wore these in 1930s out golfing, these shoes became more fashionable. Personally, these are a favourite of mine as smart shoes go. I just like some interest in a shoe, and I think a brogue can perk up an outfit really well and add a touch of personality and fun. Monkstrap. This shoe takes its name from the monks who originally wore them, as the closed shoe design provided more protection than their original sandals. It's actually quite similar to an Oxford shoe in shape and construction, with the same toe cap. It's just that the fastening is a buckle going across it instead of laces. I enjoy a monk shoe as of late, as they're a style that I see picked less and just as smart as the classic dress shoe, I think, so sometimes it's quite nice to have something a little different from everyone else. So if you want to differentiate yourself, these can be a really good choice. And remember to match the metal of your buckle to the other metallics in your outfit, like on your watch strap, on your belt buckle, on your glasses even, you know, make it all work, make it all make sense. And then you really look like you know what you're doing. The loafer. These shoes became fashion items in the 1930s in America and are based on shoes that were worn by Scandinavian fishermen. It's believed that the penny loafer term was coined when young men would put a penny in their loafers, which they would use for the bus ride home after a night out. So you do see a few versions of this actually in the design of the loafer nowadays, where they've got like a pretend penny stuffed in the strap. I think that's a really cool bit of history. These shoes are usually confused from moccasin, which is more casual. The main difference is that the loafer has more of a proper heel and sole to it. Moccasins are typically in a suede and have a thin rubber sole. So that's how you can sort of spot the difference. You usually see like a moccasin slipper, but loafers are typically smarter. Laceless shoes are nice and easy wearing and can lend themselves to casual dressing just as easily as they can smart. Many people enjoy these shoes in the summer with a lighter suit or short. A loafer is a good shoe to pick when you're looking for something a little bit different again. Shake things up, shake those laces off, and less of a typical dress shoe sometimes. It shows a bit of individuality. I think they're a great classic style that have elegance. It's got a nice preppy feeling to it as well, style-wise. We've definitely seen more loafers in fashion these days than before, with smart and casual outfits. There's always that debate about can you wear socks with them, and I'd say these days there's not really so much of a right or wrong answer. We're in a time where with fashion there's less of that, like you can't wear this with this, you can't wear these colors together, you can't wear a sock and a sandal or whatever. I think it's so much more personal. Typically people would wear a loafer with nothing or a little invisible sock, which looks good, and especially in the summer it's quite nice not to have that sock, but equally I think you can still wear that loafer with a sock and look kind of retro and preppy and cool. It can be nice to have like a nude skin tony type loafer and no sock, and then that way if you're wearing a light colored suit it's like you're not really wearing a shoe, and that can be nice sometimes. So moving on to a boot, the Chelsea boot. Yes, that's in my smart shoe list. They started as horse riding boots, and even Queen Victoria herself had a pair, but the Beatles brought them into the mainstream in the 60s, and the style is actually named after Chelsea in London, where the Beatles would hang out. They tend to sit just above the ankle boot and have elastic on the sides so you can get in and out of them pretty easily. Again, like that loafer, if you prefer an easy style, you don't have to think about them, this is great. Boots like a Chelsea, in my opinion, are another great alternative to a classic shoe with your suit. If you fancy a change or you want to keep your ankles warm, this can be quite nice. They're also good if you like to have a plain looking shoe with your outfit because there's no detail, it's just flat. But I do think it could be quite nice to pick a shorter length trouser or have a roll up and then show off that side elastic and the top of the boot. Boot styles like this, of course, are great casually and formally, and I do think this is a piece that is good for everyone to have a version of in the colder seasons too. I think it's nice to have a Chelsea boot like this. So, still on boots, the Chukka boot, even more casual than the Chelsea boot, characterized by a round toe, laces and 2 eyelets, lace holes, 2 or 3, sorry. They also come up to the ankle, so they're not a high boot in particular. And this style is what Clarks are known for and what they do best, in my opinion. I always think of Clarks if I'm thinking of a Chukka boot. After being worn by British soldiers in World War II in the desert, they became popular for civilian wear as well. For years I actually thought this style was called a desert boot because that's what Clarks call it. If you type in Google desert boot, you will find a Chukka boot. And again, if you're looking for more options that are just slightly different and less chosen, then a Chukka boot could be quite cool. Slightly out of the norm, a bit of an alternative to a classic shoe, a little bit less smart if you don't need to be too smart. But it can also make a jean more smart, so it can be quite a nice way of upping your casual wear a little bit if you struggle with smart casual. So we have reached the end of this. All of these styles, of course, can be bought in the classic colours. Your blacks, your browns, your cherry reds, your nudes, your tans. And I think it is essential to have some of these styles in some of these colours. You always need it. You need a black and you need a brown, and I think it is good to have some varying choice because you don't know what kind of occasions are going to come up. Interviews, weddings. Am I wearing a blue suit? Am I wearing a black suit? Am I wearing a coloured suit? Is it linen? Is it summer? Is it winter? Am I wearing velvet? It's nice to have some options so you're not stuck and wearing something that might not work and could ruin an outfit. But nowadays there is also such a range of colours and styles that you can add into your wardrobe as well as the classic ones. And I do recommend having a fun pair or two to bring out that can be great icebreakers, a great touch of you in an outfit, a great touch of fun. It can be really nice to wear maybe a more simple and classic outfit with a slightly elevated color choice of shoe. Like I say, I think smart dressing in general is having a lot less rules than it used to before, what we count as smart and casual. And I think there's so much more room for self-expression, even with something like a suit. Suits are being worn just as much with shirts and ties than they are with different things underneath them. T-shirts, polo necks. We're wearing, you know, more jewelry these days. Interesting socks, interesting belts, interesting shoes, earrings. There's so many ways of taking that suit and adding a touch of individuality to it. Even if you're buying the same brand of suit that many other people own, there are so many ways of making it look your own and different, especially if you're someone that does have to wear a suit a lot and you get a little bit bored, and it can be nice to find different variations on that, whether that's having a few different shoes to mix and match with your outfits, different types of fun shirts, different types of fun ties, pocket squares. You can really do a lot with a suit. Going back to shoes, they don't have to be boring. You can make them yours with different laces. Many of these shoe styles these days have interesting heels, whether that's a little bit platformy, a little bit chunky, a different color to the upper of the shoe. There are so many versions and modern takes on a formal shoe. And if you're that person that likes to have something a little bit different from the crowd with a little bit of searching, you can definitely find that. And of course, these smart shoe styles don't have to be worn with suits. Wear them casually. Play around with that mix of dressing them up sometimes, dressing them down sometimes. Have fun with intentional socks that you're showing off. Perhaps tie that colour in with your look. Really play with your colour and pattern matching to show your individuality. And as I mentioned in other videos, suits themselves can be worn with casual shoes sometimes, if the occasion calls for it. We see so many more people wearing trainers and sandals and boots. And I think what makes it smart is the cleanliness of the shoe. Maybe not wearing a real running, sporty, diving shoe, but clean, no fuss detail like a smart shoe, or, you know, some fun individuality and personality to it that will offset the outfit. So yeah, I hope as usual this was informative and you enjoyed it. If you would like some personal help with your style, if you would like someone that gives you permission to play and experiment, I'm here for positivity and a confidence boost if you need it. So please do get in touch if you would like to work together, or if you know someone that do with some professional personal styling help ahead of occasion, ahead of a life event. I'm here. Thank you for watching this video. Goodbye.